I interviewed Tiger Woods at the Aussie Masters. It is the last interview he did before his life just blew up in his face. I'd wanted to ask him questions that he's not normally asked, and so I had a section in there about his family. You're going to be fascinated by his answers. The main purpose, though, of the interview was to talk about his relationship with the New Zealander Steve Williams, his caddy. It's a relationship a bit like Lydiard and Snell, probably more like, well, Angelo Dundee and Muhammad Ali. That relationship now is something that Woods is definitely going to have to rely on as he comes under even more intense scrutiny. Will it stand the test of that scrutiny? Have a look and make up your mind.
Get in there first row and just smash the crap out of it.
Those for me stand out just because of the fact we won a championship and then the 2 following years we were dreadful.
Yeah, semi-finals footy, you've got to take every opportunity you get.
Tiger is renowned for his mental toughness, and in the final round at Kingston Heath, he needed it because he went into that round tied with 2 others. And of course, the expectation is always on Tiger, and he produced the goods.
Got it. Yes, Tiger makes birdie. Right at the smashed once again. He will tap in.
68.
And Tiger on top, down under.
Tiger, I want to talk the Kiwi connection. Are you aware that New Zealanders feel a bit closer to you because of Steve Williams?
Yeah, a little bit. When I played down there and did the New Zealand Open, I certainly got that feel. And when I came down for his wedding, and we went racing at the track, certainly I definitely had that feeling then.
Yeah, we feel as though we're part of Team Tiger as a result. It's a nice thing, isn't it?
I understand.
Did you have a good time there?
Absolutely, I did. Had a blast.
Yeah. Bungee jump?
We did, twice.
That would have given nightmares to a few people.
Yes, it did, I'm sure.
Tiger, why'd you choose Steve as your caddy?
Well, I got a chance to be a part of Stevie's group when he was with Raymond at the U.S. Open. And just really enjoyed how he was. He treated me great. I was an amateur. I mean, I was some duck amateur, so it was nice for him to go out of his way and be nice to me and play with the Masters and the U.S. Open. And he was just great. Gave me a little bit of insight of, hey, go ahead and ask Raymond this, ask Raymond that, and I always remembered that. And when it came time, I was making a change in my career, and Stevie was the first person I thought of.
It's like all relationships, it's an evolving one, but what are the basics of it? Is it on trust, openness?
Respect. I mean, obviously you have a tremendous work ethic. I have a tremendous work ethic, and so does he, and you put that together with our competitive nature, and I think over time obviously it's manifested over time, and it has evolved to where it's at now. First started off with just player caddy, and that was it. And then it's evolved to now that we're such great friends, and we talk about anything and everything together. So it's certainly evolved, but the basics, it is trust. But that takes time to develop, and it wasn't just that he was giving me good numbers or he got a feel for my game, but as a person, that develops over time.
And Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history.
Steve, Tiger's the best golfer in the world. Are you the best caddy?
Well, being the best caddy is a hard thing to judge by. You can't really say who's the best or not, but I pride myself in doing the best I can. I've won a lot of golf tournaments, and yeah, I'd consider myself one of the best.
When he first asked you to be his caddy, what was your reaction? What did you feel in the heart? What did you feel in the head?
I thought it was a great honour. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, when Tiger first asked me, he wasn't obviously the Tiger Woods he is now, but, you know, there was a lot of speculation about how great Tiger would be, and to be asked to be part of that picture and, you know, see if I could help him along, you know, I was absolutely flattered, there's no question about it.
Mate, what do you do for him? What do you just carry the bag? What's the go with being a caddy?
Yeah, it's a hard job to explain. Like, you know, obviously give all the information there, but that's not that's the easy part. It's trying to extract the best out of him every day to play his best and to be able to read his body language and understand how he's feeling on the day, how he's going to play, what he's thinking, what he's seeing. Just read all the body language and make all your decisions based on that. You know, as a sports person, he doesn't feel 100% fit every day he plays, so you got to look for those little things and judge all your judgments and all your decisions on how he's feeling and what sort of mood he's in, that kind of thing. So that's a very, you know, observation is a lot of it.
Steve Williams, psychologist, is that what you're telling me?
Well, I've studied a little bit about psychology. You know, I've read a lot about how the sports brain works, and I've read a lot of sports books on that sort of thing. So that's something that I feel is fairly important in this job.
I think it's slightly against. Right now it is. You got to get some kind of seven right there.
And he's always so open, isn't he? Like, a spade is a bloody shovel to Steve Williams.
Absolutely it is. He'll
so you know where you stand, don't you?
He'll tell you what's on his mind, whether you like it or not.
Has he ever annoyed you?
Absolutely it has.
Often?
At times.
Last time? When was it?
Last week.
Yeah.
But it's part of the deal. I mean, he's trying his best to get me around the golf course, and I'm trying to. And you know, that's part of the game, is that we're going to have moments where we don't see eye to eye, and that's great. But, you know, it's the thing, where we're out there in a competitive environment, you know, there's a lot of heat going on us, and when we're done, we'll just have a beer together.
Incline. One hop, though, and in for a birdie to get back to -1, and Tiger thought it was a little strong, but he knew he got away with one.
You were talking about relating it to being like a marriage, the relationship, and presumably you and your lovely wife are straight up and honest. Are you straight up and honest with him all the time, even though he's the boss?
100%. I mean, that's why he has great respect for me. He knows that I'm always honest and I'll always give my best opinion.
You told him to pull his head in a few times?
Absolutely. And, you know, if we had an incident last week, I read a putt completely opposite to him, and we both read it completely different. And I'm not going to turn around and start agreeing with him. I'll say, this is the way I see it, and that's the way I see it. I don't see it any other way. And he likes that. He knows I always give a 100% honest opinion, and that's what makes our relationship work.
Stevie, which way did the putt go?
His way.
You know, and you talk about Strain, and you've been with him a long time. Did your comments that you passed that time about Phil Mickelson, did they upset him? Did it put a strain on the relationship?
Absolutely not. I mean, Tiger knows the situation. He does a lot of guest speaking as well. I mean, sometimes you let your tongue slip. It's just part and parcel of the business. I wouldn't say any person that's been in that position has ever been 100% morally correct enough to speak up on stage. So it's not something I did that was out of the norm, just happened to get blown out of proportion.
No, that's completely wrong, Steve. I've never made a mistake publicly speaking. I've never upset anyone in my whole life. You know that.
Yeah, well, you're a legend in New Zealand, Deeks.
For upsetting people.
Let's not go to the All Blacks and their coaching staff.
Yeah.
Yet Mickelson isn't easy to avoid. Take that last HSBC Champions event in Shanghai last month. Tiger and Phil, final round partners.
How has caddying for Tiger changed Steve Williams' life?
I don't really think it's changed anything, to be honest with you. I love to caddy, and I always keep it in perspective. It's a job that I love, and I always treat it seriously, and I'm very devoted to it, but I don't think it's changed anything. I mean, I do the same things I did 30 years ago as I do today. I haven't changed anything.
Is that why he chose you? Because you are pig-headed, and you are, mate, aren't you?
Well, I used to call it pig-headed, I call it stubborn, whatever you like to say. But
same thing.
Same thing, yeah, definitely.
He needs strong people around him, though. Look at the circus that we've just seen today. You know, like, I think you do well not smacking a few of them.
Folks, can you hold your cameras and cell phones, please?
Yeah, but it's just part, you know, I've been doing it for so long, and I went through the same thing with Greg Norman, obviously, so I've had a lot of experience with this type of atmosphere and this kind of environment. But, yeah, I'm stubborn, and I stick... You know, I do everything old-fashioned way, if you like. I'm not a sort of modern type of person, but I know what works for me. It'll always work, and I remain stubborn, and I'll always do things my way.
Are you a better caddy now than you were when you first started with him?
Absolutely, you always learn. If you don't get better at what you do, you're wasting your time. You've got to always progress and get better. That's no matter what you do, if you don't get better, you're not going to get better results.
Tiger got it rolling, and Steve Williams knew it was coming home. A second eagle, this one to cap the third round.
And we hear a lot about reading putts or telling him which club to take. Do you do a lot of that?
Yeah, I mean, every shot that he hits, obviously we deliberate on every shot. There's no just pull the club out of the bag and hit it. There's talk every single shot you hit. There's some talk of what sort of shot it is, what club it is, what's going to happen. And reading putts, I only read the putts obviously when Tiger asked me.
Are you responsible for more things now than you were originally? In other words, has he got more faith than you now?
Well, I mean, that's just like any relationship. The longer you spend with somebody, the more faith they have in you. That just goes part and parcel with that. But, certainly, obviously, as the years go on, you learn more and more about each other. You're always learning. It's just like a marriage, really. You're always learning. So that's part of it for sure.
Steve, what's the best single piece of advice you've given him?
Best single piece of advice? Well, in terms of golf tournaments, the 2008 US Open on the last hole there.
In his 13 major victories, he's had to birdie the 18th or the 72nd hole only once at the 2000 PGA.
There's no chance. That's such a small window. Just inside the right edge of the green.
Can you get lucky and get the right distance? Look at this, going to funnel down that hill.
Expect anything different? Rocco, you've got Tiger for 18 holes tomorrow.
The best piece of advice I ever thought that I gave him is, when we first started out, and that, obviously I know he wants to reach stardom and all that, but I was very prominent in telling him that, hey, golf's just a game, always enjoy it. There's a lot of people out there less fortunate, you always enjoy it. I really got that sort of loud and clear into his head that, whilst he's a fierce competitor, you can't win every tournament and you got to enjoy it. So, I really stuck those words very boldly out when I first started caddying for him, because that's kind of what I believe anyway.
Now, come on, be honest. The worst piece of advice you've ever given him, the time when he almost whacked you over the head, has that ever happened?
Oh, yeah. I can't recall the year, but one time he was playing a tournament in Dallas and he came to the 17th hole. I talked him out of the club that he wanted to hit, and I told him about the shot that I wanted him to hit, and he didn't agree with me, but in the end I made him agree and ended up hitting it in the water and making a double bogey, losing the tournament. So I can certainly say I've helped him on some tournaments, but that tournament I certainly played a part, or not a part. I was 100% responsible for him losing that tournament. But you make a decision, you stick by it.